Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Post Malone, and we're going to talk about Andrew Yang, and how essentially these two men are essentially the same person. The only thing that separates them is the arena they battle in. Post Malone battles in music, and Andrew Yang battles in civics, right? So that's a bold statement, so let me see if I can back it up, right? All right. So let's talk about Post Malone for a minute. Post Malone is, so the reason why we're talking about him today is he just dropped his album this month, like literally last week. And I think it was on Friday. And it is a banger. Like, it is really, really good, right? So let's talk about Post Malone's absolutely stratospheric rise. He has just been, like, killing the charts for 3 years now, right? So here's the flow. Post Malone comes out in 2016, and he drops Stoney. Stoney is mostly a rap. It's rap, right? It's a rap album, and at that point, Post Malone just drops onto the earth with with Stoney, this album, and it does phenomenally, right? So 2016, Stoney. 2018, he drops an entire album, new album, Beer Bongs and Bentleys, right? Really strong, extremely well received. And just this year, in 2019, he has dropped his third album, right? It's called Hollywood Bleeding, right? I'll give you a little bit, so in case you've been living in a cave, I will give you kind of a tour through the very best songs that Post Malone has right through his 3 albums, right? So basically, Stoney is really, really solid. And Stoney, the big song from that most people knew Post Malone from, the song that really put Post Malone on the map was White Iverson, right? And the way I discovered Post Malone was pretty unusual. I'm a huge fan of Slate podcasts, and they're a whole bunch of really literate, like highly educated people who talk about a wide range of subjects, right? But listen to them talk, listen to these super educated, very pedantic people talk about popular music is one of the funnest things in the world. They're so bad at it. It is humorous, right? Because it's like, yeah, I might get in trouble with this one. It's like listening to a vegan talk about hunting. It's just really like, you're like, I don't know, but it's really enjoyable, and I enjoy everything Slate puts out. They're geniuses. I listen to almost every single podcast they put out. Their coverage of music is I find laughable. So they came on and they were like, why is Post Malone blowing up? And I was like, Post who? Right? And so they talked about his song White Iverson, and they said that they really weren't that impressed, right? So I went over and I listened to White Iverson, and I was not that impressed, right? But then a little later on the radio, or actually on YouTube, I don't really listen to the radio anymore, it came up in my feed because I listen to a lot of rap, and Go Flex came on. And so I listened to that, and I was like, wait, Go Flex, gold on my teeth and on my neck. I was like, that's a good bar, right? So I really like Go Flex, and I was like, okay, I see what people are seeing in Post Malone. But then, man, I heard I Fall Apart, and I was like, oh my gosh, right? Like, so I Fall Apart is just like Post Malone just takes a strip of his soul, welds it into a song, and it's like, here, humanity. It is so personal and so raw and so genuine. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a Post Malone fan now, no doubt, right? And it really got me, like, I was a big, big fan of Post Malone, and I really thought he was very, very talented at that time, right? So then he comes along and he drops Beer Bongs and Bentleys. Best song on that album, heavy rotation for me, right? So for me to really like an album, I gotta have a heavy rotation song, right? The heavy rotation song on that was on Beer Bongs and Bentleys for me absolutely was Better Now. Better Now, really, it's a fantastic song, but it really also showed the ability for Post Malone to really have narrative, right? To tell a story in a song. He really is an incredible artist, right? The next song I really liked was Candy Paint, and that was huge for me because I'm a big Post Malone fan, but I'm also a huge Fast and Furious fan, and Candy Paint was dropped on the album for Fast and Furious, and it was in the movie. I loved it. It was really, really good. So Candy Paint was really, really solid. The third song from Beer Bongs and Bentleys was Psycho. I really wasn't a big fan of Psycho at all. It just wasn't one of my favorite songs, right? But that song blew up and was incredibly popular with everybody but me. And also, I know this sounds a little weird, but from my friends, I had gotten quite a bit of flack from being a Post Malone fan. They were like, what? You like Post Malone? Right? And it's weird because I'm an evangelical Christian, so I get flack, of course, from evangelical Christians for almost all my musical choices. But then even my non-Christian friends were like, Post Malone, right? Like, and I'm like, he's really talented, right? So, but Psycho really put him, like, really kind of elevated his entire, following, right? And really kind of made it okay for everybody else to say, yeah, I see what you're seeing. So that was really cool. All right, now, Post Malone just dropped Hollywood Bleeding, right? That thing is amazing. Circles, heavy rotation. Absolutely amazing song. It's his best song to date by far. I really even think it surpasses I Fall Apart, which I didn't even know that was possible. It's really, really strong. Also, there's Take What You Want, which Post Malone went and got Ozzy Osbourne to, like, feature on a song. I was like, holy crap, are you kidding me? This is Ozzy Osbourne on a Post Malone song? It's dope. It is really, really good, right? And it shows the power of Post Malone to, like, get really cool collabs, right? And then the third song from Hollywood is Bleeding that I thought was really fantastic was Sunflowers. I'm a huge comic book fan, and Sunflowers really made the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie much, much better. It was a collab with Sway Lee. Really, really fantastic. All right. So there you have it, right? 2016, Stoney. Post Malone drops the Stoney album. 2018, Post Malone drops Beer Bongs and Bentleys. 2019, he drops Hollywood is Bleeding. Each one, right? Like, they're hitting, like, the first one was just a tiny stone that hit Earth, kind of established what he was. The next one's a meteorite, and it looks like Hollywood is Bleeding is gonna hit like a comet, man. Like, everybody loves this album. It is solid, right? Now, at this point, Post Malone has proven that he is a doyen of music. What's a doyen? A doyen is the person who is most respected or most prominent in a particular field, right? Now, clearly, Post Malone's field is music, right? And you could see that he's had a triple platform, right? Stoney, Beer Bongs and Bentleys, Hollywood Bleeding, right? Now, how does Yang's life mirror Post Malone's stratospheric rise? Well, Yang's life is identical to Post Malone's in his achievement. The only difference is it's in civics. Now, what is civics? Civics is the rights and duties of citizenship, okay? And that is really what Andrew Yang is. He is the doyen of civics, right? He is incredibly well respected, and he isn't the most prominent yet, but he's getting there, right? But he's absolutely the most respectable when it comes to civics, right? So let's talk about this, right? So the rights and duties of citizenship. Well, one, we have the right of education. What did Andrew Yang accomplish in education? Well, he went to Brown and Columbia. He is double Ivy League. He has 2 Ivy League degrees. Education is Andrew Yang's Stoney. It's like his first him saying to the world, I'm here, right? So what does Andrew Yang do next? Well, he goes into the corporate world, right? Rights and duties of citizenship, right? Now, we have a duty as human beings, as Americans, right, to join in corporate labor, right? And if we have skills the way Andrew Yang does, to even give others corporate labor, to hire them for corporate labor. And that's exactly what he did with Manhattan Prep. So Manhattan Prep was Andrew Yang's entry into the corporate labor world, right? Into corporation, right? So you have education, you have corporation, right? And Andrew Yang, he actually CEO'd, he crushed it. Like, Manhattan Prep did really well under his direction, and he showed that he has entrepreneurial skill, right? And so, he also showed that he had leadership there, right? And again, he's, just raising these rights and duties of citizenship, right? So, Manhattan Prep is Andrew Yang's Beer Bongs and Bentleys, right? So he's like, and just dropping that in and like, I can do corporate as well, and I can do it really well. Then, as soon as he's done with the corporate world, Andrew Yang moves on to benevolence, right? Benevolence. That's, again, rights and duties of citizenship. He's saying it's not enough for me to be part of corporate labor. I need to be benevolent to the people around me, right? I need to make sure that that it's not just enough to help me and my employees. What about the people who are around me, right? What kind of benevolence can I do? And so here he does Venture for America, which he's so successful at. Obama comes in and rubber stamps him and says, yep, great job, and recognizes him for his benevolence, right? So his benevolence phase, his Venture for America's phase, that's Andrew Yang's Hollywood is Bleeding. 3 levels of massive, like just really, really strong, very direct achievement, right? Post Malone, you have those 3 albums. Andrew Yang, you have education, you have corporation, you have benevolence, right? These 2 people, they're exactly the same. The only difference is that they are battling in different arenas, right? Post Malone is battling in the arena of music, and Andrew Yang is battling in civics, right? Now, at this point, one of the reasons why, basically now I just received Post Malone's latest album, right? When his 4th album drops, there's no question. I'm going to engage with that album on day 1, right? Because I know it's going to be worthy of my time. I know that there's going to be hard work and there's going to be quality there, right? And that's exactly why I feel so strongly about Andrew Yang. He has already proven that whatever he does it in a very authentic, very strong, and very genuine way. Exactly the same way Post Malone makes music, right? And that when he goes into his 4th genre, right? By the way, so Post Malone was in rap, and in his 3rd album, he's going to a new genre. He's really moving into pop, right? And same thing for Andrew Yang. At this point, he's going from benevolence into politics, right? But it doesn't matter what area, what genre of physics Andrew Yang is shifting into. We know he's going to succeed, right? Because what he does, he puts everything he has in there, and he is a doyen. He's the most respected, the most prominent, right? Just like Post Malone is in music, right? Now, I've shown you how Post Malone mirrors, right? So Post Malone and Andrew Yang mirror each other in triple layered achievement, right? But here's the end of my presentation to you about the links between Post Malone and Andrew Yang, right? So here it is. Not only does Post Malone reflect the past of Andrew Yang, right? But within his songs, Post Malone is also showing the future of Andrew Yang, right? So Candy Paint, fantastic song. It has got a fantastic bar in it, right? And it says, everybody says I gotta be stopped, even though my final form ain't unlocked. That is Andrew Yang all over, okay? Now, I think most people will go, oh, I get it, Scott. Andrew Yang's final form is he's going to be president. No, right? Andrew Yang's presidency is inevitable, right? January 20th, 2021, Andrew Yang will be the next president of the United States. That is not his final form, okay? So, of course, he's going to drop into the presidency on January 20th, 2021, right? Then I'm firmly convinced he is going to crush AOC in 2024 when she runs against him, right? And I think she's going to be a great competitor. But the reality is Andrew Yang's got a lot of momentum now, and frankly, AOC just ain't going to be able to get the experience she needs to beat him in 2024. So then Andrew Yang finishes his two sessions as president, right? Now, our laws say that he can't have any more time as our U.S. president. That's fine. Because in 2030, when we arrive on Mars, there's not a law that states he can't be the president of our Mars colony. And that is Andrew Yang's final form predicted by Post Malone. All of that is my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Please let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennia.